One take.
We got this.
It's not gonna be one take.
Today is my very first late night ramen series episode, and I have a very special guest. He is a cookbook author. He's an okay chef, but yeah, I'm excited to have him on. He's gonna show me how to.
We're going to make a Curry Shin Ramen.
Curry Shin Ramen. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite sushi ramen.
It's one of my favorites
too,
and honestly. So I have actually never made this before, but because this is like late night ramen, and the thing that any cook or chef will do when they come home stumbling late at night will just be to just make something with all the stuff they already have. So
throw stuff together.
Just throw stuff together.
I came down to his pantry, and you have at least 10 different types of instant ramen in your pantry.
I do. I would call it a problem. You can use any kind of curry powder that you want for this purpose. I'm using Javan brand curry powder. This is not Japanese, this is Indian. The first thing that you do with any curry powder is you've got to cook it or fry it at least. It helps kind of like activate the spices and takes out the raw kind of flavor. The oil that you use depends on what you're gonna use it for. So peanut oil is super neutral, that would work really well, but we're going to use ghee, Indian clarified butter, because ghee tastes amazing. I do love that sound. It sounds expensive.
It does.
This is what I did when I was like writing my book. I would like eyeball stuff and then put them into measuring things.
Speaking of book.
Yeah.
Like, how long did that take you to do?
Oh, the book took me 1 year to write and then like a year to produce.
That's not long at all. Just 2 years of
It's
your
just
life.
2 years of my life.
Yeah.
Blood, sweat, and tears. It happened during the pandemic, so I wasn't allowed out of my house anyway, so I figured why not write a book?
That's genius.
So we've got some smoking going on here. White smoke, when it comes to oil, just tells you that it's ready. Black smoke coming up from oil means you're burning it and hurting it, and turn the temperature down. We're going to open the packets now, and we're gonna put the noodles aside. Oop. We're going to make the broth first, because when you do a curry like anything, you don't want to overcook your spices.
How did you like get into cooking? Like, how do you know all this?
I know all this from trial and error and teaching myself. There were no Chinese restaurants, or very few Chinese restaurants, and certainly no like Hong Kong style Cantonese restaurants in Detroit when I was studying law here. Mm-hmm. So while I was studying law, I taught myself how to cook, and I just like, you know, I saw both of it through. I've got a law degree. It's like around here somewhere. But
so, yes.
I just stuck to cooking, and I stayed with cooking. Kind of glad that I did.
Was it like a certain dish that you were stuck to in the beginning? Like, you're like, I love this, I'm gonna just keep.
It was how to make like a home-style steamed fish, because I missed seafood. People just don't like cook fish here the same way that Cantonese people do. And that was pretty much why I decided to just
You tried to nail
myself.
that like recipe that you had as a kid?
Yeah. And one thing led to another. People really liked my food. I started doing pop-ups, and that was pretty much it.
Nice.
So we've got some bubbling and sizzling with the spices here. White smoke. Everything's ready, and we just... What we're gonna do next is we are going to cook fish balls in here. In Hong Kong, you would often find on the streets, it's one of our street foods, fish balls cooked in like a kind of curry sauce or a curry broth, and they're like bright and golden and yellow, and they're oftentimes served on a stick. So curry fish balls. This is not how you make them, but we're trying to do like a ramen thing, and fish balls are also served oftentimes in hot pot. So I figure why not? We'll throw some of these in. No brand, I don't have any brand loyalty to fish balls in general. So just like, you know, as many fish balls as you'd like. Just put them in there.
Very nice.
So we're just, like I said, late night ramen, whatever was in your fridge. I just happened to have some mushrooms in my fridge, and mushrooms are a great thing to add because, first of all, they're delicious. They add flavor to broth. They take flavor from broth. And also, like, there's something that you don't really have to pay attention to, I figure if you're doing something late night, the important thing is like, having stuff that is easy to cook. So
Yes.
stuff that is pre-frozen and also stuff that is very hard to overcook. And mushrooms are extremely hard to overcook. So, okay.
I love mushrooms.
I do too. That's good. And then the last thing we'll put in is frozen dumplings. This package is so distinct. This comes in different colored labels.
Okay. It's the Wei Fong that you're looking
Yeah,
for?
Wei Fong,
Okay.
Chinese brand. And then this will change. They have chicken versions, they have pork and leek, and they have pork and mushroom. But yeah, and they're like so cute and small. Like
I
they're
like
itty
that.
bitty. They're
They
perfect
look
for
sturdy
like.
though.
What
Okay,
I
how
would
many-
do before adding them to any broth though, because they're so well covered with starch, I just rinse them in water right before putting them in.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, just so they don't like thicken your broth. You can tell because of the curry, everything is like developing this nice golden color
Yeah,
now.
I love that.
But like the Shin Ramen broth itself is like orange. It's gonna be pretty.
And again, like you said, even with the fish balls, you can cook it for a long time. It's
Yes.
just, like, not gonna
Fish
lose
balls
its
don't.
integrity.
It is safer to overcook them than it is to undercook them just because of what they are.
Yeah.
One of the ways that fish balls will tell you that they're done is that they will aggressively float at the top. So most of them start off sunken at the bottom. The closer they float to the top, the more that they're done. I have no idea why, but same with dumplings actually.
Yeah.
So we'll just bring this to a boil for a little bit.
Okay. I'm learning so much.
We're gonna do dumplings for, this is also how we'll like, when you ask your parents how
Yeah.
to cook or your grandma how to
You
cook.
just do it.
Yeah.
3 times boiled.
3 times boiled. Oh shit, I didn't rinse it. It's fine. It's late night. We've been drinking.
What is late night to you though?
9:30.
Okay. I've had this conversation with friends, like, what is your late night? 9:30 to me is like, when
Lunchtime.
that's when it starts. Like night starts. So 9:30. What
I
time do you guys think is late night? Because I don't know about that. Like night for me is like probably starting at 10. Late night is not probably till midnight.
it's still 9:30
His face. It's late. Okay.
for me.
Well, we'll see what the comment section
Yeah.
says because late night is different for everyone. But late
Yeah.
night ramen is the same for everyone. It's just like not the same for everyone, but it just hits.
Yes,
How
it
you
is still
make it,
satisfying.
How you eat it, it's gonna solve the same problem. You need something savory. You need something to soak up the fun you had.
So once the dumplings like start to float, I think at that point we can put the noodles in.
Okay.
And that'll be 3 minutes and then done. Because meatballs are like, so thick, it's
Yeah.
always safer to overcook them than like bite into one and it's cold in the middle and then you're like, oh my God, am I gonna die? It's just better to be safe than sorry with these things. And yeah, this is looking very good.
It is.
Yeah.
So in your cookbook,
Mm-hmm.
change the subject real quick. Do you have what's your cookbook like? What's the goal of it? What
It's a
type of
bunch
dishes?
of different things. So
Yeah.
like my cookbook is kind of like an exploration into something I call third culture cooking. And to be like, we're both third culture people, just folks who were raised with one culture in their house and their house exists within the context of another culture. So, every time you walk out of your door every morning, you kind of cross a cultural threshold or barrier.
Yeah.
And I think like that day-to-day experience, that day-to-day life gives you such access and nuance into both that when you're able to combine the two and be a combination of the two, that creates a third culture. And we as third culture people create third culture art, third culture food. And for some examples, like there is a Shanghainese lion's head meatballs, giant pork Shanghainese meatball soup recipe in there. But then I like translated that to like a spaghetti and giant lion's head meatball dish itself.
Because I probably grew up eating spaghetti, right?
Because I grew up eating spaghetti.
But you wanted to add it.
Yeah. And because I thought like lasagna was such a treat, I made like a dandan lasagna mixed with like kind of like a Stouffer style sweet lasagna, but like made with super spicy dandan noodle sauce. And yeah, there was all sorts of things that It's pretty much just a combination of things you loved as a kid that go well together, and it's super, super fun to just experiment with. All
The
right.
dumplings are popping up.
The dumplings are popping
That's what I was looking for.
So,
I was like,
is it good soup? I don't know. I haven't done this before, so it's good soup. Yeah, that's good soup.
it's a little spicy.
It's a little spicy. It is a little spicy.
That's good soup. One.
One.
See, look at how perfect it looks.
I know.
The balls just like aligned perfectly.
It did. That is really satisfying.
It is.
Just a little more, I think.
Mhm.
And we can cover it.
Yes. I think we should do the fried egg.
Okay. All right. So when you're trying to do any kind of wok fried egg, the first thing that is super important is making sure that your wok is dry. There's a lot of residual moisture in the air, and so you know, it sticks to your wok, and even though it's seasoned, you can see there's a light coating of oil on there, there still might be some water.
Okay.
So first thing we do is get it super, super hot. And by super hot, we mean wisps of white smoke, that magic little thing that we always talk about. Then you do like one coating of oil first. This
What
wok
oil
is
this?
This is peanut oil.
Okay.
I prefer to use it for wok cooking, as it's really well seasoned, and you just kind of, even if your wok is not well seasoned, doing it this way will make it non-stick. And this is how you kind of like build your seasoning in.
Okay.
So that's the oil we don't use. We let it burn into the wok a little bit. So now our wok is like nice and ready.
Yes.
A wok fried egg is not a healthy thing. It's like a joyful thing.
This is at very, very high heat, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tilt the egg a little? Just like
You kind of just like let it now kind of move the bottom so that you have the bottom like is not sticking to the wok anymore. The bottom of the egg, I should say. Yep.
Okay.
And once the egg is loose, move it to the side of the wok where it's not as hot.
Okay.
And then you baste the egg. While the egg is there, you kind of like baste it with the oil.
I see. That was the quickest fried egg I've ever made.
You did great.
Oh my god. Look at this compared to this.
But it's okay. Don't like,
It's not perfect.
don't worry
right?
about it.
Okay.
Like, it's not perfect. Crispy eggs don't really have rules. Yeah. You know what? However you get there, you're still gonna get there.
Now we just fried the eggs and we have the curry ramen done. That is looking amazing.
I love the golden color that everything takes from this. So what we'll do at first is just
You know what's great about this is that we both wore like light colored shirts.
It is a flex to wear white and making anything that is dealing with curry. How is your noodle bowl? Because mine is not great.
That's actually pretty good.
Is it? Last thing we're gonna do is we're going to garnish because we need more than just this for color. So these are all things that I got from my garden earlier on. We have nasturtium flowers and nasturtium leaves. They kind of taste peppery. We have cilantro flowers right here. Borage flowers. If you've ever been to a super expensive fancy restaurant, they usually have this on something. And then scallions.
Look at these skills, cutting the scallions. Oh, I'm excited to try this.
We're just gonna do a little sprinkly on here.
Nice. Nice.
There. We're going to put a couple of leaves. All right. Ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. I might as well listen for this. Mmm. Oh no.
Mm-mm-mm. I think when you made the curry that way, where you sauteed it and then like it sticks to the noodles better.
It does stick.
I don't know how, but it does. This is amazing.
There is like a sweetness to it that is 100% spice based, which I totally, that's for your
thank you so much
Thank you.
for joining me on Late Night Ramen.
Pleasure to be here.
Now we can go to sleep because it's 9:30.
Yes.
This is your late night.
I'm so tired.
All right. Thank you, John.